Welcome back to Hopeful Horizon, where we bring you stories that spark reflection, ignite courage, and shine a light on the truth. Imagine preparing for a high-stakes international mission, your credentials spotless, your purpose clear. But instead of boarding your flight, you're yanked from the line, shoved into handcuffs, and interrogated like a criminal. Why? Because of the color of your skin. That's exactly what happens to Agent Sana Jafari, a brilliant undercover FBI operative, when two airport officers decide she looks suspicious. What they don't realize is that they've just crossed a federal agent with the power to shake an entire system. What follows is a gripping tale of racial profiling, a government conspiracy, and one woman's relentless pursuit of justice, not just for herself, but for the countless others who've been silenced. Stay tuned as we unravel this explosive story of bias, betrayal, and a mission that becomes personal. If you love powerful stories filled with shocking twists and emotional truth, don't forget to comment below, tell us where you're listening from, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another inspiring journey on Hopeful Horizon. The morning sun cast a golden hue over East Coast International Airport, its rays filtering through the expansive glass windows of Terminal B. Travelers bustled about, their footsteps echoing against the polished floors, the air thick with anticipation and the scent of freshly brewed coffee. Among the crowd, Dr. Sana Blake moved with purpose, her black activewear blending seamlessly with the modern aesthetic of the terminal. Her sleek carry-on rolled silently behind her, and in her hand she held what appeared to be a standard smartphone, though its encrypted interface told a different story. Sana's eyes scanned her surroundings with practiced precision. Every detail mattered. The clock was ticking, and her mission, to intercept a political mole threatening national security, depended on her timely departure. Her demeanor was calm, composed, yet alert, a testament to years of training and field experience. Across the terminal, Officers Mallory and Dean stood near a security checkpoint, their eyes narrowing as they observed Sanaa. To them, her confidence was unsettling. She wasn't nervous, didn't fumble with her belongings, and her silence was interpreted as defiance. They exchanged glances, a silent agreement passing between them. As Sana approached Gate 47, the officers intercepted her path. "Ma'am," Officer Mallory began, his tone authoritative, "we need to ask you a few questions." Sana paused, her gaze steady. "I've cleared security and have all necessary documentation. Is there an issue?" Officer Dean stepped closer. "Just routine, ma'am. Mind if we check your bag?" Sana's grip tightened on her carry-on. "Unless there's a specific reason, I prefer not to be subjected to additional screening." The officers exchanged looks, their suspicion growing. Without further warning, they moved to detain her. Handcuffs clicked into place, drawing the attention of nearby passengers. Phones emerged, capturing the scene as murmurs spread through the crowd. Sana remained composed, though internally, she calculated the ramifications of this delay. The mission's success hinged on her presence in Istanbul. Every second counted. As the officers prepared to escort her away, she spoke, her voice clear and commanding. "Call General Anders at the Pentagon. Clearance level 7. Code Black. You've just compromised a CIA mission." The officers hesitated, disbelief etched on their faces. "Pentagon? Really?" Officer Dean scoffed. Sana met their skepticism with silence, dialing a number on her device. After a brief pause, a gruff voice answered. "Blake? What's the situation?" "I've been detained by local security. Mission at risk. Repeat, mission at risk." The line went dead. Moments later, the terminal's atmosphere shifted. Announcements ceased, and a tense hush fell over the area. Airport officials scrambled, their expressions a mix of confusion and urgency. A black SUV screeched to a halt outside, and from it emerged Director Vaughn, her presence commanding. She stormed into the terminal, her eyes locking onto the officers. "Release her, now." Officer Mallory stammered, "We were just following protocol." "Your protocol just jeopardized national security," Vaughn snapped. As Sana's cuffs were removed, she exchanged a brief nod with Vaughn. The damage, however, was done. Her flight had departed, and with it, the window of opportunity for the mission. In a secured room, Vaughn briefed Sana. This wasn't a random act of profiling. We believe someone within the agency orchestrated this to prevent your departure. Sana's eyes narrowed. A mole, Vaughn nodded, and we need to find them before they do more damage. The realization settled between them. The mission had evolved. Now, it was not just about neutralizing a threat abroad, but uncovering betrayal within their own ranks. The sterile lights of the secure briefing room buzzed low overhead, casting a sharp contrast to the chaos Sana had endured just hours earlier. She sat at the long, metallic table, postured tight, eyes narrowed. Across from her, Director Vaughn, stoic as ever, dropped a thick folder onto the table with a dull thud. "You weren't racially profiled by accident," he said, his voice clipped with urgency. "Someone within the agency orchestrated your detainment to get you off that flight. And the best way to do that? Exploit local bias." Sana stared at him, disbelief flickering in her eyes. "You're telling me that TSA was used as a weapon?" she asked, her voice sharp, incredulous. Vaughn nodded grimly. "Exactly that. Someone with internal access flagged your ID just minutes before boarding. The alert tripped a red-level travel watch. TSA did what they were trained to do, but they never questioned the motive behind the flag." Sana clenched her fists, the cold truth beginning to sink in. What she'd assumed was another tragic case of racial profiling was actually something far more dangerous, racial bias manipulated by a traitor in her own ranks. Vaughn pulled up a tablet, sliding it toward her. "Security footage, badge scans, internal systems access logs. We ran everything. This was timed perfectly. Whoever did this knew exactly how long it would take to get you pulled from that gate. And they used that knowledge, knowing I'd be seen as a threat," Sana said slowly, the realization chilling. "They knew the optics, knew how I'd be treated." "And knew you'd miss that flight to Turkey," Vaughn added. "Our team landed without you. They're walking into a trap, Sana." Sana's jaw tightened. "Then we need to stop them," he nodded. "You're flying out tonight on a military bird. No manifests, no leaks. But before you go," he tapped on the screen, zooming in on a redacted file. "We've traced the tip to an IP address, last used by someone on the CIA's Black Ops list, a former agent turned private contractor. He's disappeared from our radar for 2 years, until now." Sana studied the blurred photo on the screen. It was grainy, but something about the man's face sparked a memory she couldn't quite reach. "You want me to find him?" "No," Vaughn said. "I need you to stop him, before he turns this mission into an international disaster." Sana nodded, steel forming in her gaze. "Then I'll need my full clearance reinstated, and I want all the files. Every whisper of movement this mole has made." Vaughn didn't hesitate. He reached into his coat pocket and slid a badge across the table. "Welcome back, Agent Jafari." The military aircraft thundered through the night sky, slicing through clouds and turbulence with the quiet power only classified tech could provide. Sana sat near the cockpit, reviewing files lit only by the faint glow of her tablet screen. But before she'd boarded, she'd left something behind. A video, a message, one not meant for her superiors, but for the public. By the time her plane crossed the Atlantic, the footage had gone viral. "This is Agent Sana Jafari. Yes, I'm CIA. And yes, I was racially profiled at the airport. But what you didn't know, what they hoped you'd never learn, is that it wasn't a random mistake. It was planned, calculated, weaponized." Alongside the video, she had attached damning proof, time-stamped security footage, her arrest records, eyewitness accounts, internal reports showing the travel alert's false flag status. Names redacted, but the story was unmistakable. The U.S. woke up furious. News anchors couldn't talk fast enough. Senators issued press releases. TSA came under fire, and the 2 officers who'd detained her placed on administrative leave pending a full federal investigation. But none of that was on Sana's mind as she descended into hostile territory. In a safe house deep within Ankara, she regrouped with the CIA field team, narrowly avoiding a setup that could have cost them their lives. Hidden cameras, a coded laptop, and one intercepted encrypted call later, it all pointed to a single name: Cameron Price, once one of their best, now selling American intelligence to a foreign adversary for millions in crypto. Sana confronted him in a hidden lab beneath an abandoned textile factory. The confrontation was tense, weapons drawn, their history thick in the air. "You were my mentor," she whispered, fury and betrayal dancing in her eyes. "You taught me to watch every move, trust no one." "And now look at you," Cameron said with a bitter smile, "still trusting a system that lets them pull you out of line like some threat just because of your skin. That agency never deserved you." "Maybe not," Sana replied, "but the people I protect do." A firefight followed. Cameron went down, wounded and arrested, but alive. With the mission secured, the threat neutralized, Sana finally flew home weeks later, exhausted, changed, but empowered. She didn't slip quietly back into fieldwork. Her testimony was requested by Congress. Standing in a navy blue suit, crisp and commanding, Sana faced a room full of lawmakers and cameras. The room fell silent as she began to speak. "I stand before you not just as an intelligence officer, but as a black woman who was targeted, not by the enemy, but by the very biases we allow to exist within our systems." Her voice rang with clarity, conviction. "Racial profiling didn't just humiliate me. It compromised a federal mission. It nearly got my team killed. The threat isn't always abroad. Sometimes it's the assumptions we make here at home." The chamber was still. Even the most hardened politicians looked shaken. After her testimony, public pressure mounted. TSA policy reforms were announced. Bias training expanded. A new federal oversight board was proposed to monitor intelligence misuse. Sana's name was now more than just a whisper in CIA halls. She had become a reckoning. Thank you for joining us on this powerful journey of courage, truth, and transformation. Agent Jafari's story reminds us that the fight against injustice isn't just about one moment. It's about the movement that follows. She didn't just reclaim her power. She used it to confront a system many are too afraid to challenge. Her resilience proves that no matter how steep the odds, we all have the strength to stand up, speak out, and make a difference. If this story moved you, don't forget to leave a comment and let us know where you're listening from. Your voice matters, and your support helps keep these stories alive. And if you found today's episode meaningful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss a moment that could change the way we see the world. We'll be back soon with more true-to-life tales that challenge, uplift, and inspire. Until next time, stay bold, stay hopeful, and always rise above. This is Hopeful Horizon, where every story is a step toward change.